Hi everyone, so in this video I'm gonna show you how to make this simple crochet t-shirt, and you can make your own variation, you can make your own size, it doesn't matter, like it's very easy to change the sizing of it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this, I'm gonna use this yarn, and it is a Happy Place from Hobbii. It's written here that it's 50 cotton, 50 wool, and one skein is around 150 meters, 100 gram, and they recommend a 5mm hook. However, I'm gonna be using 4mm hook for this t-shirt, and of course it comes in different colors. And if you're curious about this yarn, unfortunately it has been discontinued. I don't remember what was the name. I can write it in a description, but yeah, unfortunately this one is not being produced anymore, so I couldn't really show on this one. But anyways, the construction is super simple, and we're basically gonna make 4 rectangles. We're gonna make front, we're gonna make back, and we're gonna make 2 rectangles for the sleeves. And we're gonna end up sewing everything together and adding a little like ribbing in your neck, around your neck. So this is very simple, and as I said, it's you can make your sleeves bigger. Like for example, you can see here that I made the sleeves way wider, but this time I wanted to have something that is a little bit more close to my skin. And then this one is also a bit more oversized than this one. So this is something that you can very easily adjust. What you need to do is you need to take a centimeter and then check how many stitches are within 10 centimeter. And then you check your favorite t-shirt, you measure your favorite t-shirt here, you measure your favorite t-shirt here, and then basically adjust amount of stitches to amount of centimeters you want. But what I'm gonna do 80 stitches, I'm gonna do 30 rows, and then I'm gonna do here 40 stitches and 9 rows, and I'm gonna sew it together in a tube and then just put everything together. So it's quite simple. It shouldn't take more than 2, maybe 3 evenings, and yeah, you can use yarn of your choice. But as I said again, I use yarn that is recommended for 5mm hook, but I used 4 because I wanted to have a little bit tighter. I didn't want to have like, I didn't want this to be see-through. I wanted this to have a good coverage, and yeah, great. But then let's start. All right, so I'm gonna show you how to make one of the sides of the t-shirt, as well with the whole forehead. And then once we're gonna be done with the second part, we're gonna sew it together, and then we're gonna make a nice collar. So as you can see at the end, it's not a hole in a t-shirt, it's actually a nice neckline with a little ribbing. So we're gonna start with taking our yarn. I'm gonna put it here, and I'm using a 4mm hook. Yeah, and is everything. And now what we're gonna do, we're gonna make a loop. So what I do is I put a loop around my thumb, and through the loop I just drag the yarn, this end of the yarn, and then voila, we have a little loop that is, you can readjust. We're gonna put the hook through it. Everyone holds the yarn differently, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna with those 2 fingers hold for stability the yarn, and with this one with this finger I'm gonna just hold the yarn. So with those fingers I hold the knot, and with this finger I just keep the yarn nice and tight. And I think it's very important to hold this part, because without it you don't have a good stability. So again, like this, holding. And now what we're gonna do, we're gonna chain 80 stitches. So I take the hook and I draw it under the yarn, and then I turn the hook down, and that will make the hook grab the yarn, and I'm gonna slide through the loop. And don't make it tight, try to make it loose enough. So again, I'm gonna go under, turn the hook down, slide it through the loop. Again, under, turn the yarn, turn the hook, slide it through the loop. So now we have 1, 2, 3 chains. So again, I'm gonna show under, down, slide, under, down, slide, under, from behind, down, slide, and then I can change the place where I hold again to the top. So I'm always having a good stability. So again, bottom from the back, hook down, slide through. Great, so now we have, and now we always count from this one. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's gonna be 8, 9, 10. And what we want 80. All right, so 10 is done, and I need to do 70 more. So all right, so now I have 80 stitches. So I have a chain of 80. So this is gonna be our start point. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna chain 2 more, and I'm gonna put my hook through the 4th chain. So 1, 2, 3, the starting one, and 4. So this is where I'm gonna go. 4 chain from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's where we're gonna start. So we're gonna do double crochet, which means I'm gonna yarn over the hook. I'm gonna put it through the loop, through the chain. I'm gonna grab yarn. So I have 3 loops. Then I'm gonna yarn over again, slide to first 2, and then yarn over last 2. So now we're moving to the next chain. Yeah, here. I'm gonna yarn over, put through, grab the yarn, pull it over. I have 3, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. Moving to the next chain. Yes, here. Again, yarn over, pull through stitch, grab the yarn, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. In double stitch, never pull through 3 loops, always through 2. First 2 and then second 2. So again, grab the yarn, pull the hook through the stitch, yarn over, grab the yarn, pull through 3 loops, yarn over, through 2, yarn over, through 2. So you can see the first 2 chains that we did is the first double crochet, and then second, third, fourth, and fifth. So I know that I could make one more chain to make it more high, but I like to have my sides of my work tight. I don't want this to be too loose, so I always do 2 chains. All right, so again, we're looking at our chain. We're seeing where all the loops are, where I'm gonna go through with my hook, right? You can see there's one here and one here and one there, right? And then grab the yarn, go through the stitch, grab the yarn, pull it through, and then through the 2 and through the 2. So I'm gonna show you a little bit how I'm doing it, and then I'm gonna let you end in your own pace. Okay, so I'm almost done. All 80 stitches. And now I have 2 last loops. One here, and then one here. So, 79 and 80. Alright, great. So it should look like this. So now when we end our row, what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip the work this way. And it's because we always work from right to left. And in this row, we're gonna only work in the back loops. So you can see we have this V, and usually the hook goes under both of these. But since we want to have this ribbed pattern, we're only gonna work in a back loop. So only through this one. So again, not through both, but only through the back loop. So first we're gonna do 2 chains. And these 2 chains are the first double crochet of our row, which means we're gonna skip the first stitch and go to the second one, only in the back loop. So we're gonna yarn over, go through the back loop, yarn over, drag the yarn, 3 loops. I'm gonna go through 2, and then we're gonna go through 2 again. And then again, we're gonna yarn over, go through the back loop, grab the yarn, pull through, 3 loops, yarn over 2, and then yarn over 2. So we did 3 double crochet. So remember that the first double crochet was the 2 chains that we did. And if your work tend to go more and more narrow, is because you might be losing the last stitch, you might be missing it. And it's very easy to miss. As you can see, like we can mostly see our 2 double crochet, but you need to remember that the second chain from the 2 chains that we did is also a stitch that you need to go through. So if you have a problem and you tend to miss this, what I recommend is to take a stitch marker and go through it and just mark it. So we always know which stitch is our last stitch or first. So again, I'm gonna go back here, yeah. And we're doing exactly the same what we did in the row below, but this time we're just gonna go in a back loops of our V, yeah. So yarn over, go through the back, 3, 2, 2. Yarn over, go through the back, 3, 2, 2. Yarn over, go to the back, 3, 2, 2. Yarn over, go through the back, bring the yarn, 2, 2. So as you can see, we're already creating this kind of ribbing. So if on the third row, we're also gonna go in those back loops. We're gonna gradually getting this sort of ribbed effect. It's gonna be really nice. So let's go to the end of the row. Oops. And remember that your last stitch is not this stitch. It's the chain of your double crochet chain. So this is gonna be the last stitch of your row. It's very important that you don't miss it, because otherwise your work is just gonna lose the count and be more and more narrow. Okay, so I'm gonna meet you when I'm here. Okay, so we're almost done with the row. I just have a couple of stitches here left. And the back loop. Back loop. Back loop. And then 3 more, yeah? 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, that's the last stitch here, this chain. And here we go. And now when we're done, what we do is we flip the whole work, and then we start again. And as previously, we're gonna start with chain 2. We're gonna skip the first stitch, and we're gonna go to the second one, also in the back of the loop. Yes. Yes. So those are 3 stitches, and if we want, we can mark this one as our last stitch. I'm gonna do it. 1, 2, and then 3. Up. Right? And then we're gonna continue always in a back loop. Okay, and as you can see, you're already getting this ribbing. It might be not really seen on this side, but you can see it already on the third row that we're getting this nice pattern, nice texture. So now we're gonna continue all the way till here. This is where we're gonna put our last stitch, and basically we're gonna continue row after row after row. We're gonna always start with 2 chains, and then we're gonna skip the first stitch and go to the second one, and then we're gonna do all of this for 29 rows. So this is 29 rows. That's gonna be, this is 29 rows, and this is gonna be approximately 40 centimeters. so you feel like you want to have a longer top, feel free to have way more rows. And but if you find the size that I'm doing, continue for 29 rows, and then I'm gonna show you how to make the 30th row, which is just basically this kind of thing. So we're just gonna make a couple of stitches here, we're gonna cut the yarn, and then we're gonna start from here. Yep. And it's important that you never start from the opposite side. If we start from here till here, we're gonna continue from here till here. Otherwise, you're not gonna get this ribbed effect. So, all right, I see you after 29 rows. All right, so I did 29 rows, which means the last thing that I need to do is the hole for the neck. So as in this example, it means that I'm gonna make first 25 rows on the right side, and then I'm gonna count 25 rows on the other side, start from here and go left. I'm not gonna start from here because then I'm gonna end up with completely different looking parts. So it's really important that we always go from right to left and then right to left in that row. So here I have the 29 rows, so I'm just gonna do first 25 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So now we're gonna cut the rope. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my hook here and drag it. And this way we're blocking the row from unraveling. So this is great. And now we're gonna count 25 from here. So remember to count the chain as first double crochet. So 4, 25. Okay. So here's our 25th. 25th stitch. We're gonna grab the yarn, pull it through. The first chain, I'm gonna grab both strings to lock it. 1, and then just the working yarn. 2. So here's our 2 chain, and this counts as first double crochet. And then, as usual, and remember that the last one is always the chain. That's a little bit hidden, easy to skip, but here's our last stitch, 25. All right, and that's it. We have another side, and as usual, as before, I'm gonna cut it and then drag down. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna connect both of those sides. Will make you, and that will make us the main body of our t-shirt. But what's really important is that we need to decide where's front and where's back. So it's really up to you. Like, as you can see, for example, here on one side it ends like this on the bottom, but on the other side it ends like this. So maybe you can decide which type of ending you you prefer more. It also depends like which side is gonna be on the top. Another thing that you might consider is like, for example, here I had a knot in my yarn, something that I didn't do. It was just in the yarn, like fabrically. So for example, if you don't want to have this in the front, then you can decide that this is gonna be the front. So it's really up to you. How do you want it? I will make this side the front with this kind of thing on the bottom. So this is gonna be my front, which means that this side is gonna be, yeah, so this is it. That's gonna be as well the front or the back of the t-shirt. Doesn't really matter because they are quite the same when it comes if it's front or if it's back of the t-shirt. All right, so if this is gonna be the front, then when I'm gonna be sewing it together, I want to sew them on the left side, so on the other side. So I'm gonna take this and just go over it like this. See, so now we can see the left side of the t-shirt instead of the front. And this is how we're gonna sew it together. We're gonna sew both of these together. Like that. And when we sew it together here, then when we're gonna have it on the right side, we're not gonna see how it was sewn together. So that's the only reason why I'm doing it like that. So the way we're gonna sew it, you need to put both of those last rows like that. And as you can see, we have those V's, right? Stitches. And one is going that way and the other is going that way. That doesn't matter. What we're gonna do, we're gonna sew together. We're gonna take always the bottom V of this row with the upper part of the V. This is how we're gonna sew it. So it's quite important that you have the same length of both rows. So in my case it was 25. So yeah, so we can start sewing it. So as you remember, here's the one that is the first. Yeah, here's the first stitch, and here is our first stitch on that part, so which is ending on that. So we're gonna take the yarn and I'm gonna go through bottom of the V here and then top of the V here, right? Now I'm gonna take the yarn and drag it through. Yeah, so I have my loop. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna now hold both of those, so we have a double strand, and then I'm gonna grab both of them and pull through. All right, so what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna sew it together with a single stitch. So now hold again the working yarn, and now find the bottom of the stitch with top of the stitch here, and then grab your yarn. Think about it as two loops. This is just double strand, but it's two loops, and we're just gonna go through both. Yeah, so now again through one, and then through two. Bottom loop, and then upper loop through both of them, and like this. So again, bottom, on, this, and like this. Yep. So remember to not do it too tight, because we don't want this part to be too tight. It still needs to be quite elastic. It's our garment, so it needs to be comfortable. So again, bottom loop, top loop, through the both, and through both. See? Still quite elastic. And we're half through. It's my neglected cat. Thank you very much. And then if you calculate it correctly, it should be exactly the same amount of stitches on both sides. Which means I have two left here and there. One. And two. This one is a little bit tricky because, as you can see, it's a bit loose. So remember to not drag it too much, because you can lose it completely. So again, back here, and then front here is the chain, two chains, right? So it might be tricky to find, but in this case it's quite visible. So it's gonna be this, and now and like this. As you can see, very nice, very elastic, and on the other side it looks very, very, very nice, or in my opinion it's nice. So that's the seam, as you can see. I think it looks pretty nice. Great. So I'm gonna cut here and rug it up. Don't worry, later we're gonna take care of all of those things here, and we're gonna tie them a little bit and hide them a little bit. So don't you think about them just now. It's nothing to worry about. And we're gonna go to the second one. Yeah, here. So here the first one is the chain. Here it is. Oops. Yep. Here it's this one. Great. And the same situation as here. Don't pull it too much, because this stitch is not really secured yet. So we grab our yarn, pull it through, and then we do like this with both strands to secure it a little bit. Great stuff. And now we can continue. So outer, the bottom part of the stitch, and the top of the stitch here. Both of them, and then remember that we're thinking about those as two stitches. Just this one has double strand, that's it, but it's two loops. So here we go. And now we're gonna go all the way to the end. So bottom part, and upper part. Okay, last 3. And then this one is tricky as well because it's the last stitch of this row, so it's a little bit loose, so we need to catch it. And here, oops, and don't put it too strong, yeah. And then here it's gonna be here. Great. And then drop both of them, and then that's it. This is great. Cutting, pulling, and we'll secure that later if you want. You can do a little knot here, so at least it holds, but not more than 1 because we don't want to have it too tight. Okay, so this is great, looking nice and elastic here. And then when we go to our main part, fantastic. It looks really nice, really neat. As I said, don't think about those strands right now, so I'm gonna take care of them later. But yeah, we're done with our main part of the t-shirt. As you can see, the only thing that is left is the sleeves, and also to sew these parts together. And at the end, we're gonna make a really nice neck here, so it looks a little bit more pretty. Yeah, but yeah, we're done. Okay, so now we're gonna make the sleeves, and the sleeves are also gonna be worked flat, not in a round, because to get exactly the same pattern or like texture like we got here, we need to work left, right, and flip the work. So both of the sleeves are gonna made from rectangles that we're gonna sew together to create a tube, and then at the end sewn to the t-shirt. When it comes to how wide you want to have your sleeves, the best thing is if you measure sleeves of your favorite t-shirts, for example, with a centimeter, and then you can put centimeter on the piece of the body that you already did, and then you can just count how many stitches are in the width, and this way you're gonna know how many chains to start with. And I checked mine, and I think I'm gonna do 32 stitches. Sorry, but I did check again, and I actually made 40 stitches. So my sleeve is gonna be 40 stitches wide, not 32, as I don't have a Barbie arms. So yeah, it's 40. So we're gonna start exactly the same way how we started with this. We're gonna create a loop. Yeah, loop created. And now I'm gonna chain 32 stitches. One and 32. All right. And now I'm gonna make 2 more chains, and I'm gonna do a double crochet on the 4th chain from the top, so you can count 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm gonna go to the 4th. So like this and like this. So we have our 2 first double crochet. which means there's 30 to go. So we can just do them. And basically making the sleeve is gonna be exactly the same as making the front or the back of the t-shirt. And the only difference is that it's just smaller. So I'm just gonna show you how to start the second row. And after I show how to start the second row, I think you're gonna remember very well how we did it with the main part of the t-shirt. And then you can work both t-shirt sleeves on your own. On a t-shirt that is a little bit oversized, remember that part of this is gonna go also like in the length of the sleeve. So for example, in this t-shirt that I did before, even though this is the length of the sleeve, it doesn't mean that this is whole length, because my shoulder is approximately somewhere here, which means that's the length of the sleeve. So remember, if you're doing an oversize and you're thinking about a short sleeve, then you might maybe need to make 5 rows. If you want to have something longer, then make more rows. Just remember to have them even. And also another tip is that if you're working with your last yarn and you're not sure how long the yarn is gonna last, pro tip, take your kitchen scale and then weight the skein of the yarn that you have, and then just kind of try to use it like half in the weight. So like check what's the weight right now, what should be the weight when you use half of it, and then kind of just keep track on it. And you should end up with like enough yarn for both of the sleeves. I work with a scale a lot, so I really recommend it. And I think this is the best way to measure how much yarn do you need for a certain thing. Alright, so I'm almost done with the first row. And I'm not gonna show you anything new, so if you know how to continue, then just feel free to meet me later in the video. Otherwise, if you need a reminder somehow, it's a little, yeah. Remember that we flip the work and then we do 2 chains, we skip the first stitch and we go directly to the second one, and we only go in a back loop. Yeah, right. Only in the back loop. Yep. And then yeah, continue until the desired length of your sleeve and make 2 of those. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna sew them together into a tube, and once they are done, then I can sew it to the rest of the top. But first I'm gonna sew them like this. So it's good to put them together so you can see that they are placed evenly. Remember that if you want, you can do it like this, so you can see every row working just fine. If you want, you can take a safety pin and you can connect the piece together like this, so you're sure that while you're gonna be sewing it, it's not gonna move. So feel free to tie them together like this. Yeah. Up. And then we see, and then I will attach them just here. Exactly. Okay, great. So this is now, yeah, it is now connected. Right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the yarn now, and I'm gonna find the first stitch here. And I'm gonna find the last stitch in here. Just a little bit, so you can see it's a little bit big, it's a little bit loose because that was the first stitch of the row. So if we go connect with this, then we're gonna have a big gap here. So I think it's better if we grab a little bit of the stitch before that. Yeah, and then this stitch, so it's not that loose. And then we can just pull through. And we're gonna do a single stitch because we want the sleeves to be a little bit elastic. So we're gonna use exactly the same stitch that we used when we were sewing this together, because if you do a slip stitch, it's just gonna be too stiff. So we're gonna do a single crochet, which means that I'm gonna now do chain 1 with both sides of the string, and now I can continue. And it's not gonna be super simple because, as you can see, it's not very clear where we need to put the hook through. But what I usually do is just I'm trying to find those tighter spots, because like if you put your hook through here, you're gonna create a gap. So it's better to go with your hook here when it's like tighter. So we're gonna find those tighter spots, like leg of the stitch and here, and then single crochet. And then you can see here and here. The thing is, like, sewing this kind of thing, sewing this kind of like edges of crochet, it's never gonna be pretty. But remember that we're not gonna see this part. We're gonna look here, and also like this is gonna be under our arm. So don't worry. Like, also, if you don't like it, remember that it's always good to redo it, because I think it's better to spend some more time on something that you actually like than having some sort of garment that you worked hard on and then it has somewhere spot that you regret that you didn't, because eventually you're gonna regret that you didn't redo it. So if you sew it together and then you are not really sure if this is looking that good, I highly recommend to try again, just because, like, yeah, you already spent so many hours on doing it, and redoing a detail that you don't like, it's not gonna take you that much, and it's better to redo something than just, you know, walk in something, because I did it many times. I wanted to be done with things so hot, so badly, that I just I just gonna skip this thing, and then I didn't fix something, and then I had a piece of garment that I didn't really like to wear that much because, hey, I didn't fix something and I hated it. So yeah, if you're already putting so many hours in it, it's better if you do it put like 1 hour more and you like what you did. Like, I hope it's quite understandable what I'm saying. So yeah, over the hoops. So I'm going, and I'm, as you can see, I'm putting the hook through stitches that seem tight, so I don't create any hole, any gap. This. See, and this is still like okay in terms of how elastic it is. Just gonna open this one, and you can feel like, yeah, that this is nice and soft. Of course, like if you have any other way of sewing 2 sides of crochet work together that you think that works better, just do something that works best for you. If you prefer sewing things together with a needle, just go for the needle. Like, it absolutely doesn't matter how you do it unless you do it. And then last stitch, which is like, I think that was a chain, yeah. And then this one is loose, as you remember. We can go through it, just let's remember to keep it tight, yeah. So let's see how it looks. I'm not gonna cut it yet. Right, it looks fine for me. This is tighter, of course, like this is gonna be here, so nobody sees this. If you're not liking it, you can try again, of course. Unfortunately, we can't work in a round because then we wouldn't get this sort of look. So it needs to be like this. For me, this is just fine. I'm happy with how it looks, and I'm gonna cut the yarn, pull the loop, and I can secure it with doing a knot with the other yarn that was hanging here. I can do 2 knots, it's fine, but just not too tight. Here. And then we can also do it here on this end. It's absolutely totally fine. 2 hooks, not too tight. Okay, great. And we have a first sleeve. Okay. And now I'm gonna do the same with the second sleeve. Okay, so now we have both of our sleeves done. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna sew them together to the base of our t-shirt. So remember that the seam where we sew the sleeve together in a tube should be inside. Yeah. So now they are on the correct side. And remember that the seam is gonna be downwards, right? So nobody sees it. So now when we have a t-shirt, it's really good to adjust it also, so we see that both sides are in a good position. Yeah. Yeah, like here, and then we can put sleeve here, and then I think that that's the good place to sew it together. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11, maybe 12 actually. Let me see. This is gonna be here. No, 10 is fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I think we can sew it together. And what we're actually gonna do, we're gonna flip this on the left side. So we're gonna grab it together on the 11th row. No, alright, now this is good. Okay, so let's just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great. So we're gonna take our sleeve. I'm gonna flip it on the left side as well. Yeah. Put the seam downwards. And we're gonna attach this seam with end of the 10th row. So I'm grabbing the edge of the sleeve and I'm attaching it here. So we know that it's not going anywhere. Great. And then we're done the same. Just so I know that everything is connected correctly. Yeah, that looks good. Everything's connected. And now I can grab more pins and connect it together like this. So I'm just gonna pinch it, grab it. So this way I know that everything is aligned well. Yep. And now I'm gonna pinch this part. Great. And I'm gonna go on the other side. And in the same way, we're gonna pinch this part. And we're gonna pinch this part. Cool. Exactly. So I can unpin this part. And I can pinch this part. Connected. Both parts. And now at the end I can take this and pinch here. Connect this like that. Great. So now we have secured the sleeve. Very nice. And then what we can do is we can also connect this side, because what we're gonna do, we're gonna sew everything together. Then we're gonna sew this part together and go around here. So everything is gonna be sewn in one way. So I'm gonna connect the end so nothing moves. And then I'm gonna put pin here and there. And I'm gonna sew from this side here, and then all the sleeve around. So the same way we did with the sleeve, I'm gonna find a loop here, and then I'm gonna find the corner one in here. Oops. And then I'm gonna drag it to the first loop with the 2 strands, and exactly the same as we did with the sleeve. I'm just gonna find those tighter places to go through. And I'm gonna sew everything together with a single crochet, because we still want this to be a little bit elastic, right? So here, here, here. And as I said, like, if you have a better way of sewing it together, if you feel more confident with a different technique, you're absolutely free to use it. The main point is that you need to sew those things together, and how you sew it, it's really, really up to you. So I'm gonna sew all this part here, and then I'm gonna see you again when I come all the way to the sleeve. Okay, so I'm done with this whole part. So I sew it together, and when you look at it on the right side, it looks right. So now when I'm done with this, now it's time to attach the sleeves. So I have everything secured already with safety pins. I know where it should be sewn together. And now on the edge of the sleeve you can see stitches, right? Since it was worked like that. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab a part, yeah, of a stitch on this side, and we're gonna grab, you see this V that we had before, and you're gonna grab only the closest one, so not both, because then we're gonna have too thick part here, and it's not gonna be very comfortable. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna just grab the closer half of the stitch here, right? And here, yeah. So now let me see. Now I'm done with the armpit, and I'm gonna be sewing, start sewing the sleeve. So I'm gonna grab here, yeah, both sides. I'm gonna draw the yarn through it, and then again. So we're gonna still do a single stitch. Then I find a place to grab here, and then bottom part of the stitch. And again here. It's important that we don't do it too tight, because you really don't want to end up with a top that has very tight and stiff parts, where this part of the t-shirt meets the sleeve. I had something like this and it was very uncomfortable, and until now I really regret that I didn't stop in that point and redo it. So yeah, that's why it's important to fix the mistakes as we go, especially if we see the mistakes, of course. Alright, so as you can see, I'm still going up. And grabbing only the closest part of the stitch. It's kind of a front loop, I would say. So like when we were doing this type of pattern, we're grabbing the back of the loop, like back loop, and now we're grabbing only the front loop. So now I can unpin those, and as you can see, the whole part where it's sewn together, it's not thick and looks really good. Maybe we can see it really right now, but I think this is the perfect way to sew it together. And we have very, very, very little left. Here, and then basically we just need to cover up this hole. So again, I'm just finding some tight loops go through. Okay, then here see there's 2 stitches left here. Oops, I just need to get rid of this. Oh, it might be a little bit confusing with all the rope ends, yarn ends. And then this part stitch, yeah. Okay, seems good here. And yeah, only last cover up, so we can grab maybe this part here. Let's see. Let's connect this part. I grab my yarn. This part and this part. Okay. This is it. This is not the hole, this is just the space between the stitches, but great. All right, so look at that. This is what we did. We can just now read up the last pane. I think this is it. Yeah, and then now we can just put it on the right side and look. Now let me see. I think this looks really good. Both this side and this side. And also, as I said, like those are not really parts that anyone's gonna look at. But other than that, I think it looks pretty good. I think everything is fine. The only thing that we have left is the neck. And this is also something that, like, if you're happy with this sort of neck, you're of course very feel free to leave it like this, but I'm gonna make a little neck so I can show you how I do it. We're gonna work from the right side, so the side that we have here, and we're gonna start where other ropes are. So I'm just gonna put the hook here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a single crochet all around here, and the single crochet is gonna be the base for us to start doing a little ribbing. So I just put a new yarn string, yeah, and then as usually as I do a 1 stitch with both strands, and now I'm gonna be doing down all the way around just one round. So I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna avoid this one because we don't want to pull this to create a bigger loop. So I'm gonna immediately start with all the stitches here, and this time we absolutely don't need to worry about only going in the back. We're just gonna go through the stitch like normally we would. So let's just make this around. And as you can see, we're kind of making it a bit more like nicer. So like, of course, you're also feel free to just do a round of single crochet and just leave it like this also if you feel like it. But I am going to make a little ribbing on the neck. Okay, so I'm coming to the corner. So as you remember, I'm not gonna go here because I don't want to drag this one, so I'm just gonna immediately go in here. And then somewhere here in the middle. It's not really important where exactly, as long as you don't create a hole. So maybe we can find another spot. I feel like that was creating a hole. We can maybe just grab this one. Yeah, this one's way better. And one more. Okay. And now I can go directly here, directly to the stitch. So what I did is that along one side, I made single crochet in every stitch. Then when I got to the side, I did only 3 stitches, one in the middle and one on the sides. And then again, I'm back on that side. And now I'm back. I'm on the other side, other edge of the neckline. And now I'm just gonna go through every stitch like previously. Okay, and now when I'm at the end, I'm just gonna do last stitch here, and then I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna find some tight rope, and I'm just gonna jump here, and this way we did the full circle. Can just make maybe find, yeah, so here's the first stitch we did. So what I'm gonna do just one more here, and you kind of need to feel it if it's more than one needle. But you can already see that the neckline is pretty nice. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna do a small ribbed edge. So let me get to the first stitch we did, which is here. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna slip stitch. Yeah? So I'm gonna pull yarn through both loops. Yeah, I'm gonna show you again. I'm finding the first stitch, which is here, and then I'm gonna put the hook through it and draw the yarn through both loops, this one and the one that I already had. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna do chain of 5, or depends on the length you want. I want 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochet. So I skip the first chain, yeah, and I go to second. 1, 2, 3, and then the fourth one, I'm just gonna put the hook through it, and I'm gonna find the next stitch, which is here, and with the fourth chain I'm gonna also grab the stitch, next stitch, and I'm gonna go through the stitch and the chain 4, and one more, yeah. And now what we're gonna do, we're gonna find the next stitch, and we're just gonna slip stitch through it. So I'm just gonna take it through both of them. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna work only in the back of those 4 stitches. So this way we're gonna create the ribbing. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I'm turning it again. I'm gonna chain 1, skip the first chain and go to the second. So it's 1, 2, 3. You can see 4. And remember, 4 we keep. We find the next stitch, we go through it, draw the yarn through the stitch, through the 4th chain, yarn over, and then slip stitch the next one. And now turn again and go up 4 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now I'm gonna show the last time how I go down here. So I do an extra chain, I go to the second chain from the hook, first single crochet, second single crochet, third single crochet, fourth chain, a bit hard to find, but it's here, fourth chain, fourth chain, next stitch, yarn through the stitch, yarn through the fourth, and yarn over both, find next stitch, slip stitch. And this way you're gonna create the ribbed neckline, and I'm gonna show you how it looks when I'm done with this. Okay, so I was supposed to show it last time, but I'm gonna show it one more time with things that it's good to keep an eye on. So when you're going up, you might actually notice that we have 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I actually want you to skip the closest one and go to the second one in the back loops. So we always keep them 4. And the thing is, when you do the first one of the 4, where are we here? When you're doing the first one, keep this loop loose, because if you do it too tight, it's gonna be hard to find the 4th stitch when going down. So keep it loose, skip the first, go to the second, 1, loose, 2, 3, and remember that the 4th one is the corner one. So it's also easy to miss this one, but you always need to remember, because otherwise you're not gonna have this straight. Otherwise you're gonna be losing the stitch. So remember that here's the last one. Yeah, and now you have all the forward ones. So now again, going down, chain 1, we go to the second one, 1, 2, 3, and now you see I left this one loose, and it's very easy now to see where it is and where's the back of it. So I just go through it. Now another thing is that remember that this stitch is already in use. It might be not very visible, but you go to this one, right? Like this is the second one. This one is we're already in it, because it's sometimes easy to do a mistake and we think that this is the one that we need to go through. No, this is the one where we did the slip stitch in. So this is actually the second one. Just if you're not sure, just, you know, double check. But yeah, we're already using this one, because otherwise we're just gonna do an extra one and it's not gonna be, it's just gonna kind of open up because it's gonna be too many rows. So again, we're going to the back loop of the 4th stitch, drag the yarn through stitch and the 4th stitch, and then yarn over, and then we do the slip stitch. Yeah. So now again up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we skip this one and go to this one. So it's 1, loose, 2, 3, and 4, chain 1, and we're gonna soon be closing. We're done. Completely done very soon. So again, 1, 2, 3, easy to find, 4, next stitch, through the stitch, through the 4th, and then yarn over, and now we can slip stitch to the next one, and now we can see that we can close the whole neckline. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna find 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're gonna go through this one, and then where's it again? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're just gonna go through the back loops. A bit tricky here, but we're completely done soon. So don't worry. Let's go and find it. And we slip stitch everything. The second one. Slip stitch. And then third. Slip stitch. And then the last one, fifth. Here we go. Fourth, what I'm saying. Fourth, and that's it. This is it. Now we're just gonna cut it. Drag. Oops. And this is it. We're done. So of course we're gonna take care of those later, but yeah, this is the neckline and we're completely done with our t-shirt. And if you want, you can do this kind of ending here. Personally, I like to have it loose, but it's up to you. You can also add the ribbing here, and you can make the, I know that the sleeve looks very tiny, but it's not that tiny, don't worry. And it's also stretched because, as I said, like my arm starts somewhere here, so this is already like my armpit is somewhere here, so this is where my arm is getting already tighter, so I mean more narrow. But yeah, if you want, you can make more stitches here. You can do more rows so it's longer. You can also do more rows here, so the whole t-shirt is longer. You can also, like, instead of 80 stitches, you can do, you know, like 90 or 100, and it's gonna be even wider. So it's like fully custom. You can customize it, yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is it, and I hope you liked it. I'm super curious how it looks like for you. So if you have any picture or video, like, I'd love to see it. And if you have any photo, you can send it to me, and maybe I can add it to my pattern on the Ravelry. Would be really lovely. So thank you for everything, and if you like what I'm doing, you're free to follow me or keep an eye on what I'm doing. And you know, any nice word is always something that supports me and gives me energy to do more stuff.